really think you could be in a group relationship.
Welcome to the It's Real podcast where we talk about
shit,
everything. All right, I'm your host Leah.
And I'm your host Journey.
And today's podcast episode is going to be about monogamy versus polyamory. And is there a right or wrong way to relationships? But we're going to focus more on is there a right or wrong way to relationships in the category of polyamory or monogamy. So basically just a quick rundown on what this podcast is about. We talk about real shit from our perspective. That's basically it.
Just our opinions on it.
All right, so let's get this conversation started. Let's start with quick definitions of what polyamory is and what monogamy is. So you can go ahead. Well, what's your definition of polyamory?
My definition of polyamory is basically being in a relationship or having relations with more than one person.
Okay.
What's yours?
Clean cut, dry. Yeah, I would just say polyamory to me is just you're in a relationship with multiple people, or you're in a relationship with multiple people, or you and somebody else is in a relationship with multiple people. Just, I think there's different categories and things to polyamory. But what does Google say?
Well, Google says for polyamory, because I have monogamy pulled up. Polyamory is many, several. In Latin, it means amor, means love.
Right.
Okay. Is a practice of or desire for intimate relationships with more than one partner with the informed consent of all partners involved. It has been described as consensual, ethical, and responsible non-monogamy.
So basically, what the fuck we was just saying, but we didn't add that it's consent. So it's not a situation where I would be with somebody and then my dude is cheating. He's oh, I'm polyamorous. That's not the same shit.
It's not the same.
Basically,
that's just called cheating.
Cheating, right? So basically, we just know about what it is. Or I know that he's in another relationship. It's consensual. So
yeah, it is.
And monogamy, we really don't even have to look up the definition for monogamy because I think that's straight cut, dry in a way.
Well, there's different forms of monogamy, but I think on the surface it's really just you and somebody else and nobody else in that relationship. So
yeah, I don't think a lot of people know, because at first I didn't know it was a lot of categories to monogamy, but to me I just thought it was you're loyal with one person. That's just what it is.
Yeah, for the most part that's it. Yeah.
All right, so I don't know, would you consider yourself monogamous or polyamorous?
I would consider myself polyamorous. I think that polyamory is something that a lot of people don't even realize they're in, or they are. Because, well, for me, I just have a hard time feeling like I'm being tied down to something. You know what I mean? I have a hard time with just one thing, a continuation of one thing.
So a routine type of or traditional relationship.
Right, yeah. I have a hard time with any kind of traditions regardless if it's a relationship or not. I'm not the type of person that likes to do things because society says it's the way to do things. I guess you can say I'm a rebel or whatever, but I don't necessarily classify it as that, but I just don't like to do things the normal way, you know what I mean? Whatever that means. So no, I don't believe that I could be in a monogamous relationship at this age because I'm 20 years old and that's really young to kind of be tied down to one person, one thing, and that kind of thing. I have friends who are in monogamous relationships who are married or talking about getting married, and it's not for me. It's not my thing. So no, I'm polyamorous. Yeah.
So we're siblings, so I already fucking know you're 20. But I didn't know, for a long time, I didn't know that you would even be considered, you would even consider yourself polyamorous. I thought it was always a situation where you was gonna have a partner and that was just gonna be it. I knew when it came to kids and shit like that, you really wasn't worried about that. So, since when, to me,
since when that happened?
Right.
I don't know. I kind of just, I've been in monogamous relationships before, and I found myself getting bored easily. You know what I mean? It's kind of a situation where it's the first few months I'm cool. You know, like, I'm talking to you every day. It's cool seeing you, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff that you do when you're trying to get to know somebody. That's cool. But when you get to the meat and potatoes of it all, it kind of gets kind of boring. Like, I don't really know any other word to say but boring. You know what I mean? Because I think, you know, just having to talk to one person, give all my attention to one person, be with one person, like, it's a lot, you know what I mean? And sometimes, like, I really, I wouldn't say envy people who are in monogamous relationships, but I just wonder, how can you do that? Like, especially people who've been married for X amount of years,
long ass time,
right? Because I'm like, how do you? I don't know. Maybe it's something I have to grow, like, whenever I'm maturing and stuff, like, maybe that'll change. But now, like, just being with somebody for X amount of years or X amount of time, see, it's not fun for me.
I don't know, like, whenever we were growing up, I always thought, like, because we was raised up in the church, child, traditional setting, monogamy, all of that.
Yeah, it wasn't even a question. I didn't know anything about polyamory until,
or even like polygamy. Like, we thought, like, if you were in a polygamous relationship, you were typically Muslim or something like that. Like, we didn't grow up really understanding polygamy or polyamory to the point that we looked down on that shit. So growing up and, you know, leaving the church setting that we was in,
quote unquote,
right, like leaving the church setting and, like, freeing our minds from a lot of, like, traditional ways of thinking and just kind of connecting to other things and stuff like that, we kind of got an open mind to polyamory. And honestly, like, I don't know, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I don't think people who are in polyamorous relationships, open relationships, or polygamous relationships, I don't think that shit is bad. I think what works for you works for you.
Right.
But, like, okay, so my thing is, when you get married, like, for you, like, not just in general, like, for you, would you still be, like, in a polyamorous relationship? Or, like, would you be like, oh, I fuck with this person, I think I'm gonna be monogamous,
Well, I really can't say where my life would be, you know, at that moment when I'm, you know, talking about getting married, which is kind of ill to me right now. But, you know, if I do decide to get married, I don't think that I would want it to be monogamous. I would have that conversation, obviously, with my partner and be like, hey, listen, especially before we get married, like, don't do that after you get married. That's just an asshole move. But, like, before you get married, be like, this is what I like. And I honestly feel like I would be married to somebody who I've had, you know, that conversation with before, like, when we first got in a relationship, like, about polyamory. So it wouldn't be new to them, you know what I mean? So whether or not we wanted to continue being polyamorous after we get married, I think that's a decision we both would have to make at the end of the day. But I definitely would be like, I wouldn't,
like, this is what I'm about.
Right, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So, but when you start to get, like, kids and stuff involved and everything like that, I don't know. I think that's kind of like playing with some things, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I say I want kids way down the line, because I want to have experience life. I want to have experience different relationships and things like that. Before I bring, you know, other life into this world.
This shit,
yeah.
I definitely get that. Like I said, like, I didn't really know what polyamorous relationships looked like, you know, back in the day and shit like that. So I just always thought that shit was, like, negative. But, you know, like I said, now that I'm older and more mature, I've gotten to see polyamorous relationships, and just also, like, it's like you said before, like, a lot of us are polyamorous and we don't even realize it. Like, when we were, like, doing the research and things like that, we noticed that there are, like, 4 main categories of polyamory, which when I saw that shit, like, I thought polyamory was, like, you in a relationship, like, all y'all in a relationship. And I thought, like, if it was me, like, I didn't know.
I guess because maybe I've seen people in polyamorous relationships that I knew that wasn't the only way that.
Right, I thought it was just like, 3 folks or however people.
Like a throuple.
Right. That's what I thought the shit was. But I didn't. And then if you were like the primary partner category, which is like I would have like a partner and then I would have another relationship, or my partner would have another relationship.
Yeah.
I thought that was an open relationship. I didn't know that could be considered polyamory.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference between polyamory and open relationships is not, you're not in a relationship with the other people. I don't know. This is my definition of what it might be. It's just open relationships. It's just you kind of just, dating or sleeping with other people. Whereas polyamory is kind of like you're actually in a relationship with other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some people actually have those things mixed. Like they're in relationships with other people and they're also dating or sleeping with other people.
See, I don't know, because like when we was looking at the 4 categories, it was one category. That's why I say a lot of people don't realize that they're polyamorous. I think it was called something.
Egalitarian.
Right, egalitarian something.
Network.
Yeah. So basically what that was is just like what you would consider, from what I got from it, is what you would consider like the talking stage or like the dating stage. So like I could be talking to or dating or having a relationship or whatever you want to call it with like whatever you want to call it with like 3 different guys or whatever. I could be dating 3 different guys, and it's kind of like on the same spectrum. It's like I don't have a primary with either one of them. It's just like I'm dating 3 different guys, and they could be dating whoever they date or talk to whoever they talk to. So that's why I'd be like, okay, that's what the fuck people doing now. Like that's just dating. So you never think about it, right? You never think about it being like a polyamorous type of situation. And I think like at first I used to think that polyamory was like you trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like, right? Like I was so like
really?
So dumbfounded. Like this was whenever I was like I said, like not open minded to this aspect of a relationship.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of people are like that.
Right, I thought it was just like somebody trying to have their cake and eat it too. But really, it's on more of a sexual type of tip.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that until I got older. I didn't realize that it was you are in a relationship, like something from that person is is adding to your table, and another person's adding to your table, another person's adding to your table. It's not like I just don't want to be with you, I want to be with all these other people type of thing.
Yeah, right? No, it's not like that. I think like you said, it's other people bringing multiple things to the table for you that necessarily maybe your partner doesn't bring, you know what I mean? So I feel like we were listening to some other people on like YouTube who were in polyamorous relationships, and she was basically just saying like I can't only have relations with this person, like only sleep with this person, and because feelings get involved, and it's kind of like
she was talking about an open relationship.
Yeah, she was talking about being in an open relationship. It just felt like, well, no, she was talking about being before they turned into a polyamorous relationship.
They were both, but they were in an open relationship.
They were in an open relationship first, and then they turned into a polyamorous relationship.
Right.
So, because she was saying, like, this just feels wrong. I feel like I'm cheating, basically, if I'm just sleeping around with, him and, whatever. So, it's like, I get that. Like, I think I would feel wrong, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm just, like, sleeping with somebody and then leaving and going home to my partner, like that, even though they know and they're aware of it, it still feels like I'm doing something wrong, you know what I mean? Especially if there's no communication there, you know what I mean? So.
I think, and my thing is like, even like being in college and shit like that, and even learning about polyamorous relationships, because I was all into those classes learning, but no, learning about polyamorous relationships and really understanding that the statistics show that there are statistics that show that a lot of polyamorous relationships work out more than we would think, like way more than we would think, because it's like you're bringing another energy to me. You're bringing another energy to the table that can help you out in a way, in some sort of way.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that that's because we as human beings were never meant to just be with one person?
Okay, so I don't think, because me saying we as human beings were never meant to be with one person is saying like go polyamory, fuck monogamy. And
right.
And I'm not saying that. I do believe that we as human beings or as spiritual beings, we're meant to experience different people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, like, not a situation where I'm like, we were never supposed to be monogamous. Like, I don't think that. But I definitely think that we were supposed to experience different spirits, different people or whatever. Because, I mean, if you just experiencing one person, one being your whole life, that shit doesn't work out.
Yeah,
like it does not work.
Like, I be seeing people who, like, got married in high school and been together for, like, 70 years. And I'm like, how?
And I don't know, like, you know, you have twin flames and you have your soulmate and all these things like that, and a lot of people chalk it up to that. But I don't know, me preferably, because I ain't saying really like how I feel about my relationships. I get bored too. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I am a hopeless romantic that is addicted to new things. So like, I noticed that I like new experiences. I like meeting new people. I like understanding new people and things like that. And I wouldn't say, oh, yay, I'm poly or anything like that. But I will say that, I don't know, like, I do get bored fast. Like, we have to have so many different things in common. Like, we don't have to have, like, everything in common, because that shit is boring as well. But I think,
because they don't add anything.
Right, it's not adding anything to the table. But I do think, because I am a multifaceted being, I'm layered, all these other things, I have different aspects about myself. So if you're only fulfilling or entertaining one aspect, I'd be like, what the fuck is next? Like,
yeah, but do you feel like you could be, well, what if that person is like adventurous like you? Your partner is adventurous like you, and they like new things as well, so you guys are always trying different things, new things. Do you think you could be with just one person if that's what they bring?
Yeah, most definitely. If your energy matches my energy, but we don't have to have everything in common, I think I will be in a monogamous relationship to that degree. Like, we have to have, it has to be chemistry, but it also has to be like, kind of like I said, our energy is matching. So I feel like, I know I'm a free spirit. So it's like, if you aren't kind of being free with me, then I just be like, no. Like, I know I've been in so many situations, and this is why I was like, am I polyamorous or am I not polyamorous? Because I felt like I was in a lot of situations where they were monogamous, and I could tell they were monogamous, and they were already talking about, like, this is what I want you, I want to be with you, that's all I want.
That's bullshit.
Right, and it's just like, it's like two things with that. Back to the polyamory monogamy part of it though. So, what was I finna say? I always lose my fucking train of thought. I was wondering, was I polyamorous? Because I was like, that's nice, but I want to experience more people. Like, it's not, I'm not thinking about that. And then on top of that, I could be dating you, but I have no problem dating 3 other guys. I have no problem talking to 3 other guys. And I guess that can fit into the whole egalitarian network part of polyamory, where I have no problem dating multiple people, because I'm 22 years old. I'm not trying to put no ring on this finger no time soon. Like, maybe give me about, as soon as my PhD drop or something like that, give me 5 more years and maybe I'll be ready. But I'm not thinking about marriage, and I have no problem dating multiple people. So if you are trying to, I don't know, it's not even just trying to tie me down. It's kind of like you said, like, could I date somebody that's like adventurous and stuff? Like, if our energies match and stuff like that, and I'm really like fucking with you, then I feel like, okay, we can see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I think I'm not really thinking about marriage unless, like, that's the energy of everything. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the thing with a lot of people nowadays, is that's the first thing that's on their mind is marriage. Like, when you jump into a relationship or you get into a relationship, they're like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be with this person.
Oh my God, it just
we're gonna be together, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like marriage, like, ew, no. Like, I don't even know me. Let's back up. Like,
hearing you say that makes me think of all the posts I see, and it'd be from like people my age or your age. all the posts I see that's like,
I was gonna say we're only 2 years apart.
right, I'm not what the fuck, oh, I'm not dating to just date, I'm dating for marriage.
It's like, that is
and
Listen.
it's like, I get it, I understand, but I feel like this generation is in such a rush to be getting married. Such a rush. And I guess I can be a little biased because mama was 24 when they got married, and she had me at 25, and dad, we're not gonna expose his age, but yeah, so it was just like seeing that, and you know, they were married for 20 years, so it did last up to 20 years, but seeing that and seeing how I felt like she didn't experience life, like she didn't get to experience life. You're 24 years old, then a year later you have a child, you know what I mean?
You didn't get to experience life, but not only that, you didn't get to experience married life, because you were dealing with, you know, pregnancy, you know, like for, I don't know how long that would be from when they got married to when she got pregnant.
Like married in like February, and then they got pregnant with me in November the next year, so it was about a year.
Are you sure? I thought they got pregnant with you on their honeymoon. They did.
I don't think so.
No, they did.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
Yeah, they got pregnant with you on their honeymoon.
But I was born
that next November. Wait.
They got married in February of 96.
November. They had you 9 months later.
No, they didn't. I'm born in 97. They got married February 96. I can't believe that we are
we're not having this conversation.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. It was still a young time.
They were too young, and it wasn't a lot of time for them to actually grow with each other and know each other as a married couple right after, you know, before they had a kid. So it's like, I think for me, when I see people say things like, I'm not looking for a relationship just to be dating, like, that works for some people, you know what I mean? But not for me. Like, you know, we both know people who are married and are our age or younger than us. And it's like, I don't judge you, but secretly I kind of do, because it's like secret. Not when I say judge. I just kind of worry about people like that, especially like my friends. Like, I have friends who are like, "Well, I'm getting married in the next 2 years." Why? Like, you haven't experienced life yet. You don't know who you are. You know what I mean? You're not even 21 yet. Like, live your life. You know, like, that person might not be the same person in the next 2 years. You might not be the same person in the next 2 years, and you might not be attracted to that person, you know, by the time you guys get married. So it's like, I think you need to explore yourself, explore what this world has to offer, travel, go to college, whatever it is you do. Right. Do whatever it is you do. And with that, you know, maybe, you know, you can do that with your partner. And
I mean,
and you know, maybe you guys will end up together at the end of the day. But I don't have that excitement. You know what I mean? It's like, you know how people are like, oh, I want to go on couple vacations and stuff like that. That doesn't excite me. It really doesn't. Like, I'd rather just go with my friends or my family or by myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't really, it doesn't excite me like that.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to down folks who are young and in love. Do what you do. To me, there's nothing wrong with that. And the reason why I say that is because I am a hopeless romantic. I would watch a movie. I would watch Love Jones and be like, I need to fall in love. I'd be like, I need to fall in love. I'll watch Brown Sugar or something and be like, I need to fall in love. Wow. And then, right, I know run down on that. It's because growing up, we really didn't see what love looks like. Yeah. So my version of love, or what I got to see how love is supposed to be or whatever, was number one, through my own personal experiences, and then number two, movies or music. Like, that's how I saw love. You know, I didn't really get to see it from family or like our parents. No, mind you, they loved each other, but it was never expressed. The affection, all of that with love was never expressed.
And I think you know, now that I'm older, before when we were kids, it was kind of like, oh, mom and dad don't really, you know, do that.
Right.
I think they didn't do it because, you know, we were really heavily into the church. Like, I can't express how heavy we were into the church. I think they didn't do it because they felt like that was private. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I never thought about it like that.
I think I don't think it was like, you know, like, ew, I don't want to touch you kind of thing, like, in front of the kids. I think it was just really like, maybe they don't really need to see us being affectionate.
To me, right.
Sorry.
To me, that's not healthy for, first of all, that's not healthy for y'all.
No,
and then that's not healthy for your children, because I think your children need to see some type of affection between their mother and father, or whoever is their guardians or parents, because it's like, now that person or that child is going to grow up, and how they receive and how they view affection, how they view love, is going to be altered in a way. Yeah. Am I saying that you got to be like slobbing each other down in front of your kids? Absolutely not. But for us, it was like, if mom and dad kissed, it was like,
whoa, what's going on here, buddy?
Like, I was like,
every time they went out on a date, we were like, oh wow,
a date. Like, I was like, whoa,
and that's really sad to say out loud. Like, it really is, but that was the way that it was. Like, we just didn't see those things, and not even just in our household, like from our aunts and uncles and grandparents. Like, that wasn't something that
was widely seen.
Right, we didn't really see affection and love from our elders. Like, that just wasn't something that, you know, on either side, mom's side or dad's side. It was just kind of like,
it was kind of just there. I mean, I'll say Auntie Kathy and Uncle Ronald, I would see a little bit of something. You don't think so?
No. Well, maybe I was too young.
Yeah, I'm about to say you was young, or like, I mean, Uncle Tony and Nita.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
They are a couple that, you know.
Oh, like, yeah, they was in love. Like,
yeah,
even,
you can tell. Even now.
Yeah, even now. But even Auntie Sargie and Uncle Aaron, like, and we just name dropping.
I know.
We just name dropping, but even them, like, it was a different type of love, but at least we did get to see that.
We did see it. So, yeah, but you know, I'm saying, like,
from the household.
Not even the household, the people we were really around. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Godmama and Goddaddy, Grandma and Grandpa. No. Like, it
really wasn't there.
Yeah.
I definitely could understand that. So back to what I was saying, that seeing that and being around that, and my only interpretation of love was through film or whatever. I took that into relationships. And so now, 22 years old, I've been single. Well, okay. I was single for 4 years. When I got to college, I was single for all the way up to college. And then got into a relationship, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway.
So you haven't been single for 4 years?
My last relationship, it wasn't that long. We was only together.
But it was still a relationship.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, I was single for a long time. You know, that was a huge gap before I got into a relationship. And then the relationship before my last relationship was a long relationship.
Yeah.
Well, a year, but I mean, shit, I don't know if that's long to y'all.
A lot of people don't think that's long.
That's the longest I've ever been.
I think that shit is long as hell.
But I was in high school, so that, to me, that's long. To be in high school and be with somebody for about a year, that's long. So, that's like I'm saying, like, I jumped
I'm out of high school, and I still think that's long.
Right. I jumped from high school all throughout college. I was single. Senior year of college, I was in a relationship. So that to me, that's a huge gap, and that's a huge learning about yourself. But anyway, when I say all of that to say, viewing film and things like that, and that being my interpretation of love, when I was talking to people, dating people, or got back into a relationship, it would be like, yes, the spark, the excitement of something new. Like dating, it was like always something new. I loved that hopeless romantic feeling of dating. I thought it was supposed to go like how the movies were supposed to go. And then I would get bored. Like after a month or so, I'm like, I'm ready to like date other people. I'm ready to like, and it wasn't even just date other people. I felt like I had no problem, like I said, dating multiple people. But a lot of the guys that I would be talking to was like, no, I want you and only you. And it's like, we don't really have to, like, we in college, bro. Well, like, you know?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a little second. Do you feel like that's the case with, because I'm thinking about on your past relationships. I don't think that was necessarily the case with all your relationships. I think maybe, I'm not going to name drop, 3 people with somebody who you weren't in a relationship with, but you almost.
We were talking.
Yeah. 3 people. I can only say that that's really 3 people because the person you were within a relationship with for a year, it wasn't like that. Were you thinking about?
Oh no, but that's because.
And the person before him, you weren't.
Right.
Either.
That's what I was saying. Like high school, I felt like. This is where monogamy and polyamory comes into play. In high school, when I was in relationships, I felt like I had to be with one person. And then not only that, it was never for a long time. So even the person that I was with for a year, although that, to me, that was a long time, like I said before, our energies clicked.
Yeah.
Had our energies not clicked, I would have probably like, I'm getting a bit bored. But our energies was just so there, that I was able to be like in a long-term relationship or whatever. So I don't know, what were you saying? Because like I'll get to starting and then my head go everywhere.
I just was asking, do you feel like that's the case with all, like everybody, like, or maybe just the past few people that you have been in a relationship or talking to?
Yeah, like I said, like I feel like I'm trying to figure myself out when it comes to relationships. Like, I know what I want in a relationship, but at the same time, I know how I can get. So it's like, since I know that I can get bored easily, I'm not looking for like a relationship. But in that same token, I'm kind of just going with the universe and going with the creator. So it's like whatever is aligning with me, I'm okay. If somebody comes into my path and our energies click, then I'm totally okay with that. But at the same time, I'm okay with being egalitarian, network, polyamorous, with talking to multiple people. And I think that's okay. So like on, what's that show called?
She's Gotta
Have It. I'm not saying I'm her. But I'm saying like a lot of people, to me, misinterpreted her character. I feel like a lot of people was like, she's a hoe. And to me, she was just polyamorous. I didn't watch the show. I watched the 2nd season and I only watched a couple episodes. But to me, she was polyamorous. She was in, I think 3 relationships or whatever. And she was just, it wasn't like she was using the people from what I saw. Yeah. She wasn't using them. She was just, one person, she added this to her. Right. One person gave her another thing and she gave these individuals these things. But I do believe that a lot of those individuals she was talking to may have been monogamous.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I didn't watch the show, granted I didn't, but I would only imagine that she would have expressed to them like, listen, this is what I do, because in previews and stuff I saw that she was like, this is just who I am and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine that she would tell them up front, like, I'm not looking to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So for me, if you are monogamous, say you're monogamous, and you're talking to somebody who is polyamorous, do not put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? True. Because you're going to end up hurt at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. People go into relationships or go into situations thinking that they can change people's mind. No. And if I tell you what I want or what I don't want at the beginning of us talking or the relationship, that's what I want, and respect that. Because at the end of the day, if you thinking you're gonna change my mind, you just have no respect for me.
And that has been a lot of my situations. I'm not saying I'm polyamorous. I'm not saying that I'm monogamous, but that has been a lot of my situations. If I approach, if we're talking, if I'm dating, like just say I'm dating, and this guy that I'm dating, he's like, okay, I tell him straight up, I'm not looking for nothing serious. I don't mind that right now I may not be dating multiple people, but later in the future, I might date multiple people. You can do the same. It is what it is. You like me so much, you're okay with that. So we get to talking or whatever, and I'm still keeping to my word. I don't want anything serious. Yeah. I'm feeling you. My feelings for you are genuine, but I'm still like, I'm just dating. I'm just living. So you think you can change my mind. 2-3 months later, you're looking up like we're supposed to be in a relationship, and I done told you that I didn't want anything serious. Like, that's what I said. So do not get upset with me or say I'm the bad person when I told you from the jump I didn't want anything serious, that I was dating multiple people. I don't care if you date multiple people. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And that's what people need to understand. That's really something people don't understand. But on the other end, I think if you're the one saying, I don't want anything serious, continue to show that person that.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you start to be like, you know, oh, I love you, and, you know, that kind of thing, you know, where you're saying one thing, but you're showing something else, then you start to have people believe that, okay, maybe I am changing their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And always check in with each other. That's another thing. When I say, like, communication in relationships is key to, like, success, I mean that shit. Like, communicate with people. Like, even if it's just like a friendship, like a platonic relationship, like, communication is key, because I feel like, you know, you might change your mind, you know, during you guys talking or whatever you guys are doing. Like, in that 3 months, you might be like, well, maybe I do want to be with you.
Right. And I do believe that communication is all the way key. And I think that as I've gotten older, that I've tried to work that in with whoever I'm dating at the time. Like, if it's a month going by, hey, we need to check in, I'm still feeling this way. A couple weeks go by, hey, we need to check in, this is how I'm feeling. Like, my feelings are always genuine about people. I'm not no fake ass person that's like, I'm gonna just throw you I love yous because I want you to, like, give me this affection and I want you to fulfill what I need, so I'm gonna just, you know, pillow talk you. That's not me. You can leave that at the door. Well, everything I say is genuine, but within that, I could be genuinely liking you and having feelings for you, but at the same time, I may not want anything serious. But if I do develop those feelings to where I am thinking about something serious, and if you're on that same tip, then we can see where it goes. But if I'm saying to you, like, you can date multiple people, I have no problem with that. Utilize that, you know. That's okay. It's, especially being 22, like, it's okay for you to experience people and experience new things. Just make sure you're communicating with that other person on what your intentions are, what you want to do, what you've been doing, and that's just it. And before we get all into that, I think a lot of people think that polyamory is about sex. That's how I thought at first. I thought polyamory was about sex. You want whole bunch of sexual partners, or even like dating. A lot of people think that, oh, you got hoes, or you want to have sex with everybody, so that's why you're trying to date multiple people. And that has never ever been the case, like, for me, like, ever.
I think the reason, you know, we believe that is because we're kind of, society tells us that it only has to be one person, you know what I mean, and that a monogamous relationship is kind of the only way to a relationship, you know what I mean, or a successful relationship. And to me, that might not be the case for other people. And I think that's why, and I'm not trying to condone people cheating or anything like that.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Don't think that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, I think that's why a lot of people end up cheating in relationships, because monogamy might not be for them. But the reason that it is considered cheating is because they don't know any better, or they don't know anything different besides monogamy. They're like, maybe, you know, I just want you, and then they see somebody else and they're like, oh, I kind of want her too. And it's like, that's okay. Like, I need people to understand that that's okay. Like, having eyes for other people doesn't mean that you're, like, unfaithful or anything like that. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. So I feel like that's when you need to express or explore the different type of ways there are to a relationship. Because, you know, there is, well, so do you think that there is a right or wrong way to relationships in the sense of polyamory, monogamy, dating, not dating? No, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to anything. Like, not just a damn relationship, to anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would have to disagree. Like, anything, you think there's a wrong way to anything, bro?
I said I don't think there's a right or wrong way to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, well, okay. So you don't think that there would be a wrong way to doing something?
No. Like what?
So say somebody's making the smoothie, and like you like your smoothies thick.
Well, maybe that person thinks I like my smoothies thick.
But that's a wrong way to do your smoothie, right?
But they don't know that unless I tell them, right?
But then you would tell them that they did it the wrong way.
No, I wouldn't say it's wrong. It's just not how I like it. Perspective. Honestly.
Perception.
I'm not doing this with you. Anyway, back to what I was trying to say.
No, because let's just use another example.
Okay.
in a mental abusive relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you don't think that's a wrong way to a relationship?
I think, okay, bitch, you're not about to give me. You're not going to give me. No, listen. Of course, it's quote unquote wrong, because you're physically hurting somebody else. You're hurting somebody else. But to me, it's wrong for you to stay in that relationship. But to some other people, it might not be wrong for them. Maybe they're like, this is just how it is. This is how,
Basically,
because I
everything
say
in life is a
perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I say like, hey, you should get out of that relationship because it's hurting you, they might be like, no, this is how it is. You know what I mean?
But that's mental health. But we're not going to get into mental health.
I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
Right. But I mean, to me, there's no right or wrong way to a relationship in a sense of this topic in this conversation. I just think that we have to stop judging how everybody does their relationship. Like, first of all, prime example, Will and Jada. When I saw what was going on, I was like, okay. I was just kind of like, I'm not paying their bills, they're not paying mine. Like,
it's
like,
not my business.
It was not my business. And then on top of that, I had already thought they were open. I thought they were already like in an open relationship.
Right, I was trying to figure out why everybody was so, I guess because August had confirmed it or whatever. I was trying to figure out why everybody was so surprised. I was like, this is a conversation that they both have had before on the Red Table Talk. So it's like, ooh.
It just made me mad that everybody was in their business, and then everybody had an opinion about how they chose to do their relationship. Now, I mean, everybody was talking about the whole Jada and how I guess she wasn't completely honest or whatever. Like, I didn't even watch the whole damn thing. But to me, if you just take all of that out and get into the fact that people thought that there was supposed to be a right way to how they did their relationship, makes me mad. Because it's like, if somebody chooses to be polyamorous, if somebody chooses to be in an open relationship, why are you in their business about how they're doing their relationship? I'm so tired of a lot of people in this generation, and not even this generation, because our aunties and mamas be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Up in somebody else's business about how they do their relationship.
Yeah. Or how they do anything, for that matter.
Right.
Like, it ain't none of your business.
That's true.
If it's not hurting nobody, bitch, move on.
Like, to me, when it comes to certain things in relationship, there is no right or wrong way. If you choose to be super low key, you never post who you're with. Nobody knows. Hell, a lot of people didn't know I was in my last relationship because you don't have to put that shit out there.
I'm just trying to remember what last relationship was. It's been a lot, y'all. I'm just like.
Before him, I was single for 4 years, ma'am. Thank you.
But after him, you were in a relationship with one person.
I was not in a relationship with him.
Oh, so y'all were talking?
You're talking about
Oh,
you're talking about before. Yeah, no, we were just talking. We weren't dating. I mean, like, we weren't in a relationship. We would tell birthday trip, right? We weren't in a relationship, but we would like, okay, so we were dating. We were dating. Like, to me and him, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. But we were tired of having to explain our situation to people. So we would just be like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. Yeah, that's my girlfriend. But to each other, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, we were exclusively dating. That's what it was. We were exclusively dating. But we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay, anyway.
I mean, we could have been doing boyfriend and girlfriend things. But, I mean, we're not going to get into that conversation. All I'm saying.
Let me ask you. I have a question. So, if you were to be in a polyamorous relationship, what would your rules be? Message.
My rules, if I was in a polyamorous relationship, first of all, like I said, there's different categories. There's 4 main categories. You have primary partner, you have solo, you have egalitarian network, and you have multiple group. Yeah. And I don't think I would be in anything else but multiple group if I was in a polyamorous relationship, taking out egalitarian network, because I mean, I feel like everybody has done egalitarian. And solo is like you just having relations, but you consider yourself single. So a lot of people do that, too. Like, kind of just like, I'm having relations with multiple people, but I'm still single. So I wouldn't even say that I'm dating, basically. So I would probably, out of the 4 categories, taking out egalitarian and solo, because I wouldn't do that.
But
solo is fine, but I know myself. I can't just be having relations with people and be like, you know what I mean? Like I can't do that. But because I'm too emotional, I'm sensitive. I'm a double Sag and an Aries rising, so I really, Anyway, so
zodiac signs matter in this predicament.
I mean, we're not gonna get into astrology, but hey, what was I saying? Oh, I would probably be. My rules would be we would have to have business meetings, and that means like check-ins. So like every other month or whatever, like how are you feeling? Like, are you okay with me doing me? Am I okay with you doing you? Just because a lot of people who are in polyamorous relationships or open relationships, just from what I've seen, that other partner may be insecure or feeling some type of way, and then that other partner doesn't know how they're feeling.
Yeah.
So it's like I would definitely want us to have check-ins. Like, are you sure you're okay with continuing this? Are you sure you're okay with this lifestyle? If not, and that would be primary partner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you positive? So that would be one rule. And even in multiple, like if I'm in a group relationship, are we good? How are we doing?
You really think you could be in a group relationship?
Yes.
Bitch.
If I'm feeling young, wild, and free, I feel like I could.
I don't want to talk about sexuality here, but with a guy and a guy?
I feel like I could be in a group relationship with a guy and a guy if they were both my boyfriends, but they weren't each other's boyfriend.
So that's not a group relationship.
Right. But that's still me being polyamorous.
Yeah, this falls into egalitarian, right?
No, because they both would be my primaries. So I don't even think that, I don't know what the fuck that falls into. I just would have two boyfriends, but they wouldn't be boyfriends. But I could that's that, or I could be in a group relationship with me, a man and a woman.
Work. Okay. So what else?
Rules?
What's rules?
We would have to know, if I'm in primary, I have to know who your partner is. Like, yeah, you know who my partner is, I know who your partner is. We could be cool if you want to, I don't care. I just want to know who your partner is.
Yeah,
I don't care about what the fuck y'all do, I just want to know who your partner is. And of course, testing consistently. Like, consistently. And not even just, if I'm in primary, we're wrapping it up regardless. Like, we're wrapping it up
every time.
I mean, you really don't know people like that. Like,
but what if it's your primary person?
If it's my primary, but he has a partner, I don't know. I mean, I know his partner, but like, what if his partner has partners? Like, you know what I mean?
And
like,
his partners have partners.
And I don't have time for that.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just too much shit in the sea for that. So I mean, I get it for you. You like being free in your sexuality, and I like being free in my sexuality too. But within that, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's in it to me. Look,
but
I'm very spiritual. I do not want all of your spirits combining with mine. Like, I just cannot do that. Like, so yeah. That's why I say a lot of, when it comes to relationships, sex is a big factor, but it's not a huge factor for me. So we're not going to get into, that's another topic for another day. But those would be my rules. Like, yeah, I feel like I already know your rules. Of course, wrap that shit up, or not even just wrap it up, but make sure you're getting regularly tested.
Yeah, I
feel like that's the only rule you have, because
that is the only rule I have.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna wrap this podcast up because we already did too much time than we thought we was gonna do. So hit us up next Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, for another episode. It's gonna be a good one.
I can't say what we're gonna be talking about, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm your host, Leah.
And I'm your host, Journey.
And it's the It's Real Podcast, ? We love y'all.
Bye.